And then the board potentially becomes like even more important, maybe, if you will, with the Eldora.
Right, exactly.
Stuff going on, it becomes more important to be involved. You know, and the real way that things get happen on the board is doing stuff outside of the meetings. Is the reality.
Yeah, well, when Jonathan and I were talking, he said that was gonna be. Then, right, I had already been thinking about getting involved at the sustainability committee or,
Oh, yeah.
and this is right in my field of. I have a master's degree in wilderness management, bachelor's degree in outdoor recreation.
Cool.
And I was on the South Park, what do we call it?
Nikki, can you hear me?
Someone call you.
Nikki, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I was actually inside.
I can't remember exactly. There's R, but there's. I done over the first over there.
Oh, yeah. Super.
Facility review committee.
Are you in a
I'm yelled at.
We don't have a quorum yet. Hello. I'm sorry I missed your call today. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry.
This is Adam.
I thought you were Ty when you walked in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
sit there. It's kind of like, I guess y'all can just, because you're both running, like seeing if there's a position. And there's a chance that like if we end up having someone, because we have the alternate position open now, but if we have someone, if someone ends up stepping down, then there's like basically two positions. And the alternate position has like a lot of, it seems like the way that Caroline's taken it, it's pretty much a board position.
Yeah.
And it's really valuable. It's not like you're like, okay, go sit in the corner until, you know, we want your opinion.
Sure.
So,
Cool.
and then Casey's on the Grand Canyon right now.
What's y'all's quorum?
Nikki, do you know our quorum number? I don't actually know.
We need 4.
1, 2, 3. Hey,
We're at 3 right now.
Okay.
good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm Adam.
Kirsten.
Are you guys?
Have you been with Galen and before?
Oh, are you Galen?
Adam again?
I've heard your name, but we haven't actually met.
Okay,
well, Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Are you guys here representing certain?
Both
We both applied.
to the one of the open, the alternate position.
Oh, that's great.
And then we'll see like, well, I've talked to CT because if he's, I don't know if he's planning to show up to this one, but like he will have missed kind of enough meetings at this point that we'll need to enforce just the meeting count number that you do need to attend. And then see if he just wants to step down.
You could.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll see if like he's getting close, and that's not to knock him because I know he's excited about it, but we need people to be here, so
Yeah.
he may just want to step down if that's the case. And
Yeah.
then it kind of opens up positions anyways.
I'm successfully trying to get a hold of him for
Yeah.
quite a while. It's pretty hard to reach via. Yeah.
But I'll, after this, if he's not here, I'll reach out to him and just
Then
ask
do you
him.
have his number?
Yeah. And I'll ask him if he would like to, what his thoughts are on staying involved or not.
Yeah, I tried emailing him directly.
And then,
Nikki, can I call you later too? I can call you tomorrow or whatever too, but I wanted to tell you my conversation earlier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
is anybody here from Electra, whether or not she's?
Text her.
Oh, do you have her number?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
She's in love with my horse.
She what?
She's in love with my horse.
Oh,
And we use Shabbat.
do
There you go.
do you have horses and just do horseback riding?
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can,
We got Luke. You're,
with this new camera, is the mic, what's the mic setup?
it's coming through the camera.
So do we need to mute ours?
That's probably the good idea.
Okay.
You have quorum, Sam.
Yeah, we do.
Can everybody hear okay online?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're gonna get going. All right, call to order. I'm running the meeting as the chair, as the acting chair at the moment. And so we'll get started. Cool.
I'm just gonna start the recording really quick.
Yeah. And we'll update this site too, once we get everybody
You guys are good.
on here. I'll just go around and do the roll call. Luke.
Here.
And Caroline,
Here.
Lindsay,
Here.
and that's it. Casey is out in the Grand Canyon, we know that. And then CT, I'm up, I hadn't heard from him. And then I hadn't heard from Electric either, but she's brand new, so she's getting it figured out. And we'll dive in. So updates on new board members, electors been voted in, and then Caroline's moved from alternate to a full-time board member, so we're super stoked about that. And then we'll jump right into welcoming both Adam and Kristen, both of which have applied to be the alternate board member position. Depending on what happens here, there may be like space for both of you. But what we'd love to do is like start with that and give you a chance to tell us about yourselves. And oh, CT, you're here. Great, awesome. I want it. And add CT to the roll call. And so yeah, we'll start with that. So would either of you like to go first, Matt? You have a preference?
Lady first.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Miami, recreation. And
Big-
planning.
What was your name?
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Yeah, right, they all met me. And I have a master's from CSU and University specifically. So, I think that it's really out. And, I also have been on the Park County Board, or advisory board on the environment, as well as I was a charter member of the Elder Island Access Review Committee. So I've been involved in a lot. I've taught, I'm a teacher, I've taught environment for years and worked with the Division of Wildlife Conservancy, was big forest. So we're doing recreation a lot. Both municipal and outdoor. Outdoors usually.
And then the thing I'll say is like, I'm super excited for anybody who wants to like volunteer and be involved. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And thank you for even stepping up and being interested. And then I would also love to hear like, just like personally, why are you interested in the person? What are you motivated? What would you like to see?
I've been
Yeah.
I've been around Maryland since, I think we moved to Gilbert County in '92. And been involved with miners days, climbers days a lot. Riding the trails with horses. I used to manage the Sunday stables when we weren't city, working for the stables too. And I still can't tell you how I got from Mud Lake to Caribou over to Eldora. I mean, with Sheila riding, but I've ridden all over the place. But I can't tell you exactly how I got places. But I just love the area, and I'm at Doc Joe's, and I have a couple of trails on our property that I manage. And just, I've done a lot of trail work. That's interesting, the whole scheme of things, and especially with the acquisition. Or this stuff, there'd be a lot going on. And I really enjoy the planning part too. So that's what I'm pretty much focused on in plans. Looking at major breeds. I did a research project up in Rocky Mountain National Park on feeding wildlife that Salem, there was some people who fed wildlife and came up with, they wanted their kids to have like the same experience that their parents had, and I'm kind of like that. I always want to raise kids. I mean, just in the forest school model. I worked for GOV Forest School. And then also, let's see what else was gonna say. And my other research is pretty pertinent these days. Let's just see on that heads, they're doing studies is the effects of aircraft work flight on workers.
Oh, yeah.
Satisfaction, visitor satisfaction. So I've really been a lot in the visitor behavior and how to manage a lot of people in a government road, everybody roads. That's what we're looking at is, do you want to park in an area or do you want to different things? A lot of different aspects to look at. It's like with there's lots of things going around in town. When the person said, oh, are they gonna build a trail from Eldora to Hesse so that people don't go from Eldora? And I'm like, well, that part's already hardened, and where are they gonna build the trail? What's the effects on wildlife and stuff? And they're looking at me like, and I said, yeah, you come up with different alternatives and look at the alternatives. That's how I plan for that. So that's my interest is,
We also worked together in Gulf County,
yeah, John.
running a
yeah.
really cool child care program,
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
and it was really great. I think we had a really great experience. So.
yeah, we had a great kid program. I think, right, Jonathan?
I agree. It was awesome.
It was great.
And we had a lot of like outdoor activities for the kids and the trail that they did work on and things like that. So
I'm into getting the kids out in the outdoors.
that's awesome.
Hello. For the folks that just walked on, I'm Adam. My wife and I live on Beaver Creek Drive off of Caribou. We have a 1-year-old. I'm originally from Ohio, Southeast Ohio. I went to school at Ohio University. Yeah.
Where? No way.
Well, I'm originally from Dover. It's like a couple
Okay.
times. Oh, really? Nice. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, nice. When did you graduate?
11.
Graduated in 2012, but that's a good segue. For a number of years, I lived in Yosemite. I did public safety work at the park. And then so that was a 3.5-year internship. I was doing EHS work for Yosemite National Park, and then I went back and finished at OU. Yeah, and then I moved to Boulder in 2012, and I got a job at the university in the environmental health and safety office. So we manage a lot of things for campus. Some not environment, like radiation safety, chem safety, biosafety, but then we also manage like the Mountain Research Station. So I'm going to go tomorrow morning, actually. I guess Sam kind of turned me on to the position. We do a lot of hiking and biking around town. We've been in that since 2018. And I kind of just think there's a lot of potential in the community to expand and to just develop the resources we have and to help people have a good time outside and make it a great community for everyone. And yeah, we'll see a lot of potential with the town.
Well, any questions? You guys?
Yeah.
Are there specific areas that you feel like excited about? More corridors?
Well, I think obviously the outdoor expansion is very exciting, or acquisition. It's exciting. Yeah, no, I'm kind of just open to helping, and I mean, trails are really cool. I like the idea of multi-use trails for people. That would be great. Like I said, there's a lot of potential, a lot of land, a lot of public land. But also, I'm just interested really to learn more about what this group does as well. I feel like I have a pretty, small knowledge of like what is done here. So just would like to learn more as well. So help out where I can.
Sweet. Does anybody else have questions?
I guess just both you, be all aware that we meet once a month to accompany.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'll have to go remote because I got work in Colbert Canyon at 5:30, so can't quite get here at 5:30, but I can go.
Like join the train.
Absolutely, that's perfect. I will say, we are going to the Dolomites tomorrow. So for 2 weeks. So I don't know if I'll be able to stay the whole time, we have a house sitter, should be packed. Sure, but as far as tonight goes.
Oh, yeah.
One of my kids' dads just,
Oh, nice. You know where they were?
he works for, as a entire shoe factory, shoe.
Hospital.
And that's what he did. Scarlet. I'm thinking, like, anyway, yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Sweet.
Don't get too spoiled on the trails over there. The Dolomites,
It's like, we're just saying.
Oh. That's Luke.
What did you say?
Luke was saying don't get spoiled on the trails.
I'll try not to.
Um,
Yeah, we'll do some biking and some Via Ferratas as we can with our 1-year-old. But her family is coming along, so
Cool.
we'll have some babysitters. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Jonathan, do you know tonight what we're doing with, it's like a little bit goofy with the way the positions, sort of like the idea of pre-advertising formally. There's things on the agenda here, but we did kind of do that and then it just.
Yeah, I think what I need to just talk to Macy, just to double check.
Yeah,
I
so
talked to
we're-
Macy. I talked to
Okay.
Macy about it. We need to repost it, and because she was really busy right now, she wasn't gonna be able to post it until August. So
Okay,
there's
so-
nothing that we're gonna do tonight about it.
All right, so we have 2 awesome candidates for the alternate position. And then. we're
Have you
gonna-
both submitted applications?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can probably keep those applications, so you don't have to do anything else. And likely what will happen, Macy was at clerk school this week, so she'll be back next week. We have a meeting on August 5th, and so basically I think it has to get posted for 15 days, I believe. So it may be the appointment would be on the second meeting in August, which is not ultimately too far away. But the way it typically works is you guys would interview the candidates and then the board makes the final decision. And so, yeah, the bot. So that's kind of like where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So I think like what could happen is there could be another candidate and that might happen. And then you'd probably want to interview them as well. But I don't think it needs to be out, drawn out very long or anything.
Okay.
I will also talk to our attorney and just see like if we can, since we have candidates and because we have 2 roles, right? Essentially, or no, one role.
Right now, we just have the 1 role, the alternate.
Okay.
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay. So what we'll do, I'll talk to her and see if we can put it on the agenda on August 5th. And if we can, I will let everybody know. And if we can't, it'll be probably August 15th.
Cool.
But that might work better for your schedule anyway. Okay.
What, sorry, I'm confused. Why are they reposting it? We already have. If it's already.
Because-
been posted on-
Because it had been closed, Caroline, the posting was closed, and so because it was closed, when we got these applicants, we have to reopen it.
Yeah, which shouldn't take too long. It's just about making sure it's noticed publicly and all that kind of stuff. But that does happen. So I just make sure we cover the base and then I know how to reach out to both of you so I'll make sure you have what you need.
Well, thank you both for being here. Like I said, any interest and like desire to be a part of it is a big deal. And there's always positions opening, so like no matter what happens, check back in a couple months. Somebody's life has changed.
Yeah. And we do want people to be involved in Eldora stuff. So if you have
Yeah.
questions or you want to be involved, I can tag you for that stuff too.
Sure.
Yeah, it's keep me and my.
Awesome. And you're welcome to stay as long as you want and head out whenever you need to. There's gonna be an update on Eldora, which will be interesting probably. You're gonna learn by that pretty much right away after public comment.
Very ad hoc.
So let me go around and do minutes approval. I need to double, I actually didn't have a chance to look at them, but we did get some. Let me check. Did everybody get minutes? I didn't have a chance to look at them. But usually I'm good with them, so I'm just gonna approve them in this case. And for the minutes, motion.
Motion.
Yeah, motion to approve the May and June 25 minutes. Second,
Yes.
and then,
There was no June meeting, right? It got canceled. There was Yeah, no June.
That's right, so it'd be just a minute. Nikki,
What?
we'll go around. We'll go around and vote here on the minutes. Nikki?
I
Or
don't
sorry,
vote.
I feel like we're gonna speak. Luke?
I should vote, but no, I don't need to vote.
Yeah, you should vote. Luke?
Are we, we're doing roll? I couldn't quite hear that part because there were too many people. Okay.
We're voting on the minutes.
Yep.
Approval.
Yep, got it. Yes.
Lindsay? Caroline? CT? Approved. Great. All right, good to go. Minutes approved. We'll move on to public comment and non-agenda items. We have a 3-minute limit. And can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jim Navratil. I live in Big Springs and I've made nap trails all over my property and they connect with the Bear Down Trail
Sweet.
in the open space. So you're always welcome to come up there and climb the stairs and
Do
then
you,
have a drink later.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh.
That makes it even better.
do you want us to publicly post those trails in any way?
Talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, I know you mentioned it before. We talked about it, but
Yeah,
I figured I'd ask again. Up to you.
yeah, we don't want too many people.
Okay, yeah. Free drinks.
And
That's a lot of beer.
I had a bear in the backyard the other night, so.
You know, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, that's super cool. Is there anything else that you have to share at the moment, or is that it?
No.
What's gonna happen?
Thank you for being here. I know you join us commonly, and we appreciate it. And do we have any other public comment online that's joining? We'll go ahead and address that.
Kristen on there.
Tristan, do you want to unmute yourself and share?
There we
public
go.
comment?
There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to, I'm Tristan Wenger. I'm local resident for 4 years. I just wanted to give some support for the Brink Link bike trail. It'd just be awesome to have a little more trail access and have some little extended bike use, that's all. And walking trail.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on. And I can give you Tristan's last name if I have it.
Can I say one more? Can I say one more short
Yeah,
thing?
absolutely.
I just wanted to apologize to Nikki that I didn't pull more weeds that day.
Jim, you were the hero of the day. Jim was the only person that showed up to our volunteer weed pull, that last one, the only person.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Tristan, you're welcome to stick around if you want to listen to the rest of the agenda, but you don't have to. And thank you for your public comment and support.
Okay, will do. I'll hang out
Yeah,
without video.
All right.
I'll see you guys.
I think that is the rest of our public comments. We'll jump into informational items. And of course, one of the most exciting ones is Board of Trustees liaison update. Luke, do you and Jonathan want to tag team that, or how would you all like to do the purchase of Eldora update?
Just probably since John's a little clearer, I'll let him take the lead on that.
Cool.
Well, I don't think anybody is probably in the dark on that, but we did announce that we were able to come to an agreement to purchase Eldora. It's a project I've been working on for, I think, the last 97 years. And it was a lot of work, but it's to a term sheet is essentially where we're at right now. Kind of just a little background about what that means. We've been working on this project since last August, is when I started. I basically started this job and then started doing that almost immediately. And we were subject to an NDA, which is important to know because, you're dealing with a private corporation. There's a lot of moving pieces in that space. But Powder has been a great kind of steward of that mountain, and their Play Forever campaign is super cool. They've been winning national sustainability awards for what they're doing in the snowmaking space and just in the mountain tourism space. And I think that they've been a good partner to Nederland too, and repaired things in relationships that weren't always the best. So I think we're really grateful to have them on our team and to be doing this with us. and to be thinking differently about what skiing means. And I think that that's what the really exciting part about what we're doing is ski hills have to be functional, they have to be resilient, they have to be able to operate. And so I think that within that framework, there's a lot of space for the community. And like, there's a lot of space for us to think about what that mountain has meant to this town since 1962 and who's been running that mountain. And it's Netherland. It's always been Netherlands. That's always been the story. It's always been one of our primary kind of sacred spaces in town, like where people go off the Nordic trails in the morning and just have a quiet morning, or like maybe a couple laps when the sun's coming down, or like a beer right after that, or whatever, meet friends. It's where like literally every kid in Colorado learns to ski, I think. Like, and it's a great place, and we can have it be whatever we want it to be. And I think that's the important thing. When you look at Netherland over its history, it's probably reinvented itself now 4 times, at least 4 times, if not more. And that's so cool because like one of the things that has been expressed to me is when you look back at the value statements that have been made in each of these periods, it's the same. It's community, it's doing things the way that we do things, and it's really thinking about how we protect assets within ourselves and take care of our own selves. And we haven't had the capacity to do that in a while. We don't have the capacity to take care of ourselves right now. When I got here, there's a structural deficit in our budget, and that's a problem. But it's something we can solve if we control our own economic destiny. And I think what you see when you look at a lot of the tourism plans and some of the recreation work that you do is it's not about bringing more and more people here. We have enough people here. We have enough visitation. It's about managing it and teaching people what it means to be in this space and how you interact in the mountains and how you live a different way. And I think that's the thing about Netherland. You know, people are like, it's like Oz, or it's like the place over the rainbow or whatever. And that's freaking cool. It's like, we want that. That's awesome. And this is how we do that. And so I think that what I would like to tell you is I cannot tell you everything I know about it. We don't know everything, but the key is that this allows us to take care of people. It allows us to take care of places. It allows us to really think differently about how we really promote what's important about this place and special about this place. And so I think that's the guiding principles right now. We had a community meeting, was it last week? I think it was last week. It's been a blur a little bit, to be honest with you, but it was great. There was a lot of community members there. There's been a lot of press about it. We have these FAQ documents that we've created. We're tracking all the questions, which I know is not the least frustrating thing in the world, but we want to answer everything. And so we've been tracking them. We've been scraping comments off Facebook just so we can answer them and like identify measures of success for what we're doing. And we're going to continue that work. So there'll be a document 4.0 that comes out as soon as we're possibly able to do it. And we want to continue that. We've had a lot of ideas. I think there will be advisory potential for this. You know, I think the key is setting up a resilient business that can work for what it needs to do. But like the difference between a town owning and a corporation is a corporation needs to think about the constant value growing of a space, and the value that we are going to be thinking about is a little bit different. So we need to make sure the mountain runs and the people are taken care of and that the infrastructure is taken care of. And we're doing all the things that make it successful, but maybe not like if it's worth another $100 million or whatever it is in 20 years or something like that. So that's the cool part. You know, there's also opportunities. I know people are talking about summer recreation. There's always opportunities to talk about what that means and what that looks like. You know, there's things like Jefferson County has Mount Blue Sky and another camp that they go to for the kids where they can do outdoor education. We don't have that. And I know we have wilderness all around us, but there's opportunities to do things here that I think are special, I guess is all I'm saying. So I welcome you guys to be involved in it. If you have questions for me about it, I'm happy to answer them. I cannot answer everything, but I will answer what I can.
What role do you foresee PROSAB playing in supporting you and the town in this next movement of things?
I think I would say more than a little and maybe less than a lot. And I'm not sure what that means because I just don't know quite.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I think, well, it does. I think it means something. It means there's a role, but I just don't know what it is. So I think I can't say that you're gonna, yeah, I think I can't tell you you're gonna like have like decision-making power or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think like Parks Recreate, it's like very close to your mission. There could potentially be another advisory board. I don't know, but that's kind of what we're working out right now. And those are the questions that we need to be talking with the community about.
We have 2 people that have joined our meeting.
Oh, cool. We pop right in. Just let's wrap this up. Actually, then we'll pop back up there and then see if there's more public comment. Relative, are there like opened up for questions to Jonathan and team?
Well, I guess to build on that is, what role do you see for this?
Well, the idea is that Eldora is going to operate much the same as it does today. It's going to be a business. So what we have done is created an enterprise fund called Mountain Recreation. That will be the kind of the funding mechanism and the governmental mechanism. But an enterprise fund is primarily funded through fees, essentially, which works really well for something like this. So I think in large part, the business is going to operate as it does now. We've talked about hiring a deputy town manager that would be mountain ops. That would be kind of in charge of liaising between the mountain and the town. And I think that's a really important role. We need to keep working on the structure here because there's going to definitely be roles and spaces for this kind of work, but I just don't know exactly how that looks. So I think what I would say is that the mountain will largely operate. Nikki's not going to be operating Eldora. Now, that doesn't mean that she, maybe there's benefits of working together because, they have a huge amount of equipment and people. And so maybe if we have projects, maybe there's things that we can do in that space, which would be super cool. But I don't foresee the capacity. There's a capacity problem for Nikki, I guess.
There's a capacity problem, Nikki, now.
I don't know.
The resources that we have to manage right now.
Well, I don't know that is relevant to the question though, because I think what will happen is eventually Eldora will bring revenue into the town that can support infrastructure, which is discussed in the FAQs, which will give Nikki more capacity to run the projects and things that she's doing. So it's not so much that, I just think there are two sides of a different story. So Nikki, we're going to continue to work on building capacity within the Parks Department, but we're not giving her a whole mountain operation.
Right.
To run.
And like, ultimately, it's safe to say that like when the general fund or wherever that fund, however that is structured, and the money that comes into town over a period of time here becomes quite a bit larger relative to the existing budget. And so then that opens up the discussion and opportunity for things to be funded in different ways or to a greater.
Yeah, I think the key is
I don't want to say things that aren't.
Yeah, I think it's like a little premature to talk about that, but I think at some point that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there will be additional capacity for the town, and that's something we discussed in the FAQs. It's just right now what we need to do is make sure that the mountain has what it needs to operate. But these are things that like I think you'll find out about in future versions of the FAQs. But I think that's generally a fair statement.
Cool.
Has Eldora been operating at a profit?
That's addressed in FAQ 2.0, and yes.
And it is worth reading those, and like that way you're getting accurate stuff, and Jonathan's stuff is contributing too.
Each of the like 1.0, 2.0, et cetera, they have different content.
Yeah, and so what we did is we started off like, wouldn't this be kind of a cool thing to think about? And then we got comments, and then we started addressing them and working with the community on those. And the 2.0 document kind of talks a little bit more about that as we started moving forward in the process. The 3.0 document that we have now is updated just to talk about the fact that we've come to like an ability to move forward and talk about some things publicly. And then the 4.0 document will address the comments from the meeting the other night and what we've seen kind of in the community to this point.
Are they available online?
Yes, they're all on the website. They're right on the front page too, so they're all linked.
We'll kind of like wrap this up, just to keep it within the time window, but are there any other like major burning questions at this point in time?
I just wanted to add,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add something really quick, as far as like the role of PROSAB as, this Eldora transition starts to take place. And, there's still obviously a ton of unknowns. And, but I think one of the roles that PROSAB can play is start to brainstorm and think about the ways that we integrate the recreational opportunities between what we consider as town proper and Eldora. Like how do we integrate and take advantage of recreational opportunities that benefit both the town and the ski area? So I think that's something that PROSAB I think has a real opportunity to do as we go through this next transition phase.
I'd agree. And I think that the Board of Trustees is going to be continuing to talk about this. And I think this is on their list too. One thing to note, the board's going to be working on a strategic plan in August, and that's going to help with this work too. But I think one of the things that's going to likely come of that is thinking about some work plans that tie you into the Board of Trustees. So you guys are all kind of copacetic on what you're working on. And that's something that we can work on over time. But the goal is this is a community-driven project and it has community outcomes that are desirable, you know, within the scope of what we can do to make sure that everything stays resilient.
Cool. Will the facility itself, the lands associated with it, be part of Netherland Township?
Good. We have talked about annexing it. If we did that, it would be only the town-owned property, and that could be something that is considered down the road. But it would be only the property owned by the town.
Like some of it's more service.
Yeah.
Sure, of course. Has there been any talks with Boulder County about the interstitial areas between Eldora and town? It's odd to have a town that's kind of spread out about between two independent geographic areas.
It is not possible to do what you just suggested. You have to have a connection, a 1/6 continuity connection. And so that would be a part of that process when it starts. But it's premature to talk about that because we don't even know if that is going to happen or when, but that would happen. That's part of the legal requirement for such thing to happen.
CT, does that answer your question?
Kind of.
You can't annex property unless it's contiguous, and you can't do it without having conversations with the commissioners. So there would be that conversation happening.
But those conversations haven't happened yet.
They've happened a little bit at a very high level, but you can't say something's happening until that process starts, and you definitely can't do that if you're not. You know, if this doesn't happen, then we wouldn't do that. So
Yeah, I was just asking if those conversations.
yeah, we would do it properly.
Do you want to try getting over to?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you for everything you've done. That's a big deal, and it's awesome. I'm really excited. Let's pop back up to public comment because we do have 2 people that joined us and asked if they have public comment to share. We'll start with Matthew. If you want to unmute yourself, if you have public comment, or maybe you're just joining to listen. Either way, let us know.
Can you hear me all right?
We can. Yep.
Okay, no public comment. I actually just moved to Ned a few months ago, coming from over a decade in Boulder, and I'm very interested in parks and recreation and experience in wildfire, and just wanted to sit in. So thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining. Nicole? Nicole, can you hear us? If you have any public comment, we'd love to hear it. We'll give you a moment to hop on and share if you do.
You're muted, Nicole.
All right, we're gonna move on. Next cross-site comment.
Make a public comment.
Sure.
So Jonathan, what you're talking about, I think a good way to simplify that so people understand it's called a multiplier effect. You know what I'm talking about from economics is with having the ski area, we can turn the money to the people in the restaurants and any suppliers that are local and things like that. It keeps that dollar keeps increasing. And so I think that's probably one of the aspects. To answer your question, is it CT?
Mm-hmm.
That land that you're talking about, that would be, is where the ranches are, the around open space, we probably have to get in that conversation too.
Yeah.
It's all conservation.
I was looking to see what the status of those conversations were, if they've been had yet. Sounds like they've only been had at a very superficial level so far.
I would say a high level, but I think that the thing is that you have to have there has to be a deal, first of all, to really talk about things. So you don't want to waste people's time. And then you have to make sure everything's finalized. Then there's a whole process, but we have a very good working relationship with our partners at Boulder County, and there's no intention of doing anything to damage that. So
I wouldn't think so. I'm just trying to get a feel for what those conversations are, who they've been with, what they're likely to look like.
Yeah, if that is a decision the board decides to make, then what we'll do is the process that's laid out in statute is there's both notification that happens to the commissioners and then other process that has to happen on the town side. And that would be something that we would be worked in tandem with them. So it's a very much a partnership driven effort. And there's obviously things that to be considered, such as Shelf Road and things like that. So that's actually a fairly long process to do something like that. So I think you'll have plenty of opportunity. There will be plenty of conversation about it with the Board of Trustees and things like that before it happens. But it is something that's in the FAQs because it has something that's been contemplated because of the potential for sales tax generation coming into the town, which is probably the most direct economic benefit that the town could generate. But the thing is that the mountain, what I'm trying to communicate is the mountain needs to be sustainable, which means we need to have everything set up for their operations and reserves and all that kind of thing. And then there's going to be benefit to the town on top of that. And I think that that's part of this conversation is making sure that the community benefits are clear. And while we can't talk about everything, we do want to, everything will be talked about as soon as we're able to. So I think that that's kind of like what happens. We're just trying to make sure that we're incrementally putting out the information we can. And concerns like that, we're also tracking. So I will track that and make sure that you have good answers for that in the process. And I'm available to anybody anytime to talk about this stuff. So.
Well, coming from this board too, as I see it, and I just basically just haven't thought about it right now, but it would add open space to the town.
I'm not sure. That's kind of a question for you. Maybe take note of it. We're gonna move on to the next thing. Cool.
I'm gonna boogie.
Cool.
But
Thanks
thank
for
you
being
all for
here.
letting me. I hope that we get to ditch on all things happening soon. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Nikki, staff report, over to you.
Okay. Oh yeah, never mind.
Luke, give him Nikki staff.
The staff report for June 2025. New materials were added to improve safety and accessibility to Chipeta. Crusher fines were installed in surrounding trails for better walkability. Pea gravel was added to the playground surface, which is really the most unfriendly 88 or surface that you can have, but it is what we have, and we add several tons of pea gravel to the playground every year. New sand was added to the sandbox area, and mulch was reinstalled into all of the flower beds around town. And we talk about in our staff report for June, the town cleanup day was a huge success. Casey was one of our volunteers there. Sorry, dogs next door are barking at me. So I might need to go inside, but we had a huge community turnout, and we actually made double what we made last year as far as income goes. That's not like a money-making day, but at least we're paying for our dumpsters. And the Rink Link Trail, talked about that. We had some progress and have had a lot of meetings and a lot of walks, and I've almost created a social trail through that place, walking it so often. So we are busy. It is the busy season. I am fully staffed right now with 3 full-time year-round employees and 2 temporary employees. And we are just every day, it's all kinds of new projects. So, all right, that's all for me.
Nikki, I'd just like to say that Chipeta looks fantastic. My kid was playing in the new sandbox area just the other day. Really had a great time. I did notice while I was walking along the shoreline that some of our instruments have sustained some damage. One of the drums is busted.
Yep.
Is there any way we could get in touch with the folks that produce that? And,
it's already ordered. Already ordered. We were actually considering putting some animal skin on that or something in the interim. So, but yep, already ordered. The other thing that is ordered and has been ordered for months was supposed to arrive for the 3rd time, was supposed to come in yesterday, and it didn't, and now supposedly is coming in tomorrow, is the new portable tennis system. So we are on schedule for delivery tomorrow for the new tennis. So looking forward to having that installed.
Something I was a little curious about, Nikki, and you may know, is with Eldora occurring, we had an agreement to do some wetland restoration at Fisherman's Lot. I was wondering if there's any other construction or work planned to occur
It's
there?
already been done, CT. It was actually done and completed 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And the only thing left to do with that is to put in an informational sign.
They're
Okay.
ready for it. We're supposed to meet them as soon as they can get to us. We're to just look at the location, so.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's like Luke has it again.
Yeah,
He sure did. He sure did. He just turned 3 years old.
that's all.
Luke?
Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, Nikki, I had a question. I remember, I don't know if it was actually last year or just far enough ago that it feels like last year, but there was a goal to replace a bunch of the town gas-powered machinery with battery stuff. I was just wondering how that was going, or if you had all the support you need there.
So that was in my May staff report. We purchased gas or electric powered weed eaters and leaf blowers.
Okay.
And those were the only things that we've purchased so far because we were testing the brand.
Okay.
We went with the Milwaukee brand because we have a ton of Milwaukee. That's what we use for our tools and our drills. And so we need a lot of batteries to do the amount of work that we do. It takes we just weed whacked Angel Park, for instance, and we went through I think we went through 10 batteries and ended up having to use the gas powered weed eater on top of it. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of battery use. But we did make those purchases in May.
Cool. But I was just gonna say, like, just to kind of, hype up if there's ways that, we can, I don't know, try and help or see if we can get community help or anything on that.
What do you mean,
Wait.
community?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people know of, like, clever ways to recharge your batteries. Like, I don't know, can you charge them off the gator or something? Or, just ways to kind of help that make that easier for you. Or
Oh,
ways
no,
to
I mean,
get
we
both.
have all that stuff. We can charge it. I don't use the gator, but we can charge things off of trucks or whatever. But so we were going through them faster than they could charge.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks for the update. Sorry I missed it in May.
No worries.
Another small thing I wanted to ask about was the sign for the Moose Meadows open space. What else was needed for us to get that mounted?
Nothing. We just need the time and capacity. It's on the list. It's actually sitting in our front room waiting because we just got the one for the kids fishing pond installed. So I imagine it'll be soon.
Wonderful. Thanks, Nikki. You're the best.
Thanks.
Do we want to talk about the wrinkling discussion that Luke had emailed about?
It's later on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at, I saw it under staff.
No, you saw it, right? It's on, it looks like it's on the agenda for now, Nikki, if you wanna dive into it under your staff report stuff. Unless I'm looking at something goofy.
No, I think, oh, maybe it is on mine. Okay,
No worries. If you wanna just roll into the rest of this stuff, feel free.
all right, so the Ranklink Trail update. Let me just say that we have a second weed pull scheduled for August 2nd, if anyone can make it. That's a Saturday this time, so if anyone can make it August 2nd to Gercio Field, we will do some more scentless chamomile pulling.
What time?
The Ranklink Trail update. So we had a
Nikki.
design, oh, sorry.
What time for folks?
sorry, 10 a.m. at Gercio Field on August 2nd, and we'll go 10 to noon.
Can we put that in the Google?
Nice. Yeah,
I-
for sure.
I don't know if we
Okay.
have one in time, but if we do, we can.
Okay, if we do.
I've noticed some yellow toad flax around town. Is that kind of on our list of most wanted weeds?
Toad
We-
flax, we get help from Boulder County on toad flax. And that's one of the weeds that if you don't pull it, it becomes really, or if you don't get the entire root when you do pull it, it becomes very aggressive. We actually, there's a really thick patch of toad flax up on Moose Meadows that we preemptively weed whacked down to the nub, just to try and keep it from flowering. But that's like we don't ask the public to help with toad flax or thistle. Scentless chamomile is the only one we ask for public help with because it's easy to identify and it's very satisfying to pull.
Okay. All right.
Let's roll through the rest of the updates.
All right, so we were, so I walked the Rink Link Trail, been working on that since last year. We had a momentary pause with what was going on, what we let the neighbors give us their documents or input or whatever. I had walked it with Luke. We had put out a layout of it and walked it with Luke, and we were pretty satisfied. We gave the public time to comment on the layout of it. The comments that we had were from some of the closest neighbors to some of the closest neighbors to that Wrinkling Trail commented. And so I walked it again with them, took their comments into consideration. Some changes were made, just to try and compromise, keep the peace. There are not any more aspen going to be taken out than previously stated. It's just a different route. It looks like we're going to take out more aspen, but we're not. So before, the neighbors were complaining that we were putting the trail through a field of wildflowers that they really liked. Then we had neighbors on the other side saying, don't take out aspen. So I was trying to really avoid all the aspen while killing the two birds with one stone by taking out as much juniper as we could. So, like I said, some small changes, some small compromises were made. Their original layout, we had the entry here. They wanted the entry over here. I put the entry in the middle, or entry exit point in the middle. It is literally 20 feet off from where it was before. And even though I saw Luke's comment about how it doesn't connect, it does connect, because that access trail that goes to the elementary school, you're only on that thing for 20 feet. So that is the layout that I chose. I don't mind going back to the wildflower layout, but we did have pushback and I was trying to keep peace. So they then went back out and put up a bunch of yellow flags in a really weird configuration. Sometimes it was straight on my originally marked line. Sometimes it was way off. Some their yellow
And a
flag
bunch of spray paint.
and a bunch of spray paint. Thankfully, they didn't paint any trees because I probably would have called it in for vandalism. But they
A neighbor.
A neighbor did this.
yeah.
The same ones who
Quite a
don't want it to go through the wildflowers. They don't mind spray painting the wildflowers, but
So they made a day's worth of work for me for sure. And then part of the reason I'm disregarding their yellow flag line is because when I laid out the trail was laid out basically in the middle of town land. We didn't want to put it too close to the neighbors on the west, and we didn't want to put it too close to the neighbors on the east, and we definitely didn't want any opportunities for you to look into anyone's windows from those trails. And when they laid it out, I thought it was really interesting because they put the yellow flags where you could look directly into their hot tub. And I was like, why do you want that? But then at one point in time, they also tried to um put it onto the neighbors on the west. They tried to put it onto his land, like they put it onto private property. So we shut that down really quickly. So basically I was ready to go, walked it with Jesse Severs. Thought I made it really clear to Jesse Severs that this is a connectivity trail. Above and beyond anything, it has to be a connectivity trail, and connectivity means connectivity for everyone. If we want to do a bike trail, that has to come second, but first we have to get it to connect.
Nikki, can you talk a
So-
little bit about the conservation easement on that property? Just what your understanding of it is for trails?
So we have conservation easements on a lot of our town parks and town land. And that means that we can't do anything with those pieces of property other than a trail. It means we can't have bicycle playgrounds or pump tracks or things like that. So those things have to be done very carefully and very delicately. If we are trying to put in a bicycle playground as a rink link trail, it's not going to work. We are going to get pushback and we are going to be sued. So I'm trying to keep the peace with all of the neighbors and putting in an accessibility trail that may have a berm or a nice, like, cool curve or a neat hill, but I'm not trying to make rollers and rockers and jumps, and I'm not trying to invite every mountain biker on the Front Range to go to this particular property. It's just not the property for it.
So you're
Not to
saying
say-
it can be bike optimized to some extent, but it needs to be ADA accessible.
Correct. Yep. So the trail has to be at least 3 feet wide, if not 5 to 6 feet wide. And if it's only 3 foot wide trail, then we have to have pullovers every certain amount of feet. So that wheelchairs, if a wheelchair user was on there, people would have room to pass. So it has to have accessible passing zones. So that has to be considered as well. Yeah, this is, we were ready to go with construction. I walked the trail with Jesse. I thought that was clear. Apparently that's maybe not so clear. And then Luke's comments came in, and so we stopped again. Now we are completely stopped. I'm not ready to go. And now I feel like I'm going to design every 5 feet of this trail and put it out to the public so that everybody can see exactly where it's going to go and exactly the way it's going to be.
Thanks for that very thorough update, Nikki. I appreciate that. And I think what you said about the connectivity is, at least from a PROSAB perspective, like that is one of our primary, objectives overall with the PROST plan is trail connectivity. So I fully support that as our primary objective here is, this is intended to sort of complete the circuit of, the trails through, the sort of Mud Lake and Indian Peaks school zone. And in that vein, that was kind of the, really the only comment point that I wanted to drive on that, when I sent that feedback in was, the opportunity to connect to where the Kendall's Corner Trail takes off. I feel like it gives us a good opportunity to put in some wayfinding, like highlighting Kendall's Corner, which, is more of a big deal for older timer folks, but that was a very cool project that happened. It's not technically town. Actually, to be honest, I actually don't know where the actual Kendall's Corner Amphitheater is.
Kendall's Corner is on BLM land, but it is maintained by town or taken care of by town. The BLM kind of gave us that amphitheater.
Right. Okay, that's why I wasn't quite sure, but anyway, I just I thought like that's a cool opportunity for us to basically create an intersection there where we could put up a sign, that's rink link this way, Kendall's Corner that way, and would be kind of a neat thing to do. But as I maybe should have said, like I feel like getting going on this trail is kind of more important. And that was actually the main reason why I wanted to put it on the agenda, was just to talk about like how do we get the momentum back, and just like a lot of us have said, like let's just get going. Like I know there's a lot of fire mitigation work that needs to happen, and you know that's kind of what I wanted to bring up and have us be able to talk about, but also to collect other people's input. I know I've given a lot of my own, but I sort of would like to hear other people's feelings about both where the trail goes and, you know, how do we strategically get moving.
Luke, you cut out. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you now.
I could hear him.
Cool.
I could hear him. He asked for other people's input.
Yeah. Maybe just muted yourself after that and ended your sentence.
Yeah. I just want, if anybody else has input to say, I mean, like I really would like to see us just get going.
I have some thoughts. I just wanted to share with you guys and then let you guys have your discussion. I think that this trail has taken a while to get to the finish line. And so I think that there's just been a lot of discussion about it and like what could possibly be the best possible thing. And to Luke's point, having a trail is probably the best possible thing right now.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we know about this trail is it's going to be Nikki's going to lead a great effort here. She knows what she's doing and what the assignment is here and like where we need to have this be done. And the other thing is I think we all know, or anybody who's worked, well, I know you guys all have experience in this space, but when you work on a trail, like you kind of look at the canvas and you're like, oh, that's where it could go. And then you get in there and there's always going to be small deviations. And sometimes those field deviations are really important to protect. And so what I think might be a really great path here is like, we know we've got a great crew that's going to be working with Nikki. We know Nikki's, Nikki's dedicated her life to this work. And I think like between the two of them, and like Luke is also very close to the project. I know you guys all will be, but maybe what one of the possibilities is let them start the work and get the trail going and managing these things. And then that exit point, maybe we start on the other side too. And just, the exit point as we move forward, see what the alignment looks like and like where they'll be. Because I think that everybody wants a cool trail with bike optimized features where they can be and connectivity and all the good things. And I just was thinking maybe that's a really good outcome here, is to let, like you kind of said, like, let's get this thing going and get it open so that we get that loop.
Yeah. Yeah, I second that sentiment. And not that I don't want the public to be able to comment and stuff, but if it's not a requirement, and Nikki, you can just get your vision of it executed, so it's people can walk on it, people can ride a bike on it, it's ADA compliant, like, and we can use it this year for kids to get to school.
And Nikki could also, she could talk to y'all about it too, like when we get to the end. And, I think with the goal of keeping that connection into the circuit as close as humanly possible, it may be like when we get over there, like there could be rocks or something that need to be dealt with or whatever it is. So
I trust Nikki's vision on it. She knows it. And like to the degree that, it's a trail that makes sense and serves multiple user groups in the community, that's awesome. And my question, as it often is these days, is what are our next steps to make it a reality?
Well, I'll let Nikki talk to you. I don't want to take your thunder, Nikki, but we do have a contract outstanding with Jesse Sievers that needs to be signed by Macy, our clerk. And so she'll be here Monday, so that can get done. And then I think that part's done. And then it's just, I think they just are mobilizing. I guess, Nikki, you talk for yourself, but we just need to mobilize and make a plan. But there's still just a couple things to work out in that space. And then we'll be.
Yeah, I really need to design it and lay it out so that Jesse's very clear as to what needs to happen up there. Not necessarily like with an engineer kind of design, but I'm going to sit down and sketch it out and sketch out each corner and do whatever markings that I've got to do up there to make that happen. It's become a joke with the staff that it's become the Trail of Tears. And I say that's a joke, but it is almost as bad of a word as the pump track. It's been that difficult to deal with some of the things.
It's going to be cool. And I think honestly, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
gonna
just
be,
like a trail for kids to get from the.
Yeah.
And people to get from the rink to the elementary school.
and I think once that happens, we'll get the coordination meeting going with the crew and then, we can get this thing moving.
What's our timeline for being
No
able
timeline
to?
yet. I can give you a timeline later. I don't have a
Okay.
timeline right now.
We'll probably have an idea next, well, maybe we could send an update.
I guess something that I would advocate for is like before the start of the school year, so kids could use it to get to school. Does that seem, and if you're not sure yet, that's fine, but does that seem realistic?
Nikki, why don't we work together?
Sounds like a
on-
dream. Sounds like I
could-
like that. I like it.
I know you'd love to. I was asking it, and you don't have to respond if you're not ready to respond.
Nikki, you and me, we could coordinate on an update and send it once we have all these coordination meetings. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I can get an update out. I'm not,
Okay,
I can do that. No problem.
and to the degree that we can make these projects not tiers of trails of tears, that would be great. Okay, I don't want that to be the case.
It's just, it was like everything. I thought it was gonna be just a simple little construction trail. I thought maybe we'd have it done last year, but here we are.
Yeah.
A year later.
All right, well,
Come here.
go ahead, Nick.
Sam, well, I was just gonna say, so Nikki, like and you know too, like there is a lot of trees and wood that we need to get out of there. Does it make sense to kind of get somebody started on the fire mitigation step?
It's
before
gonna
we're-
happen, Luke. It's gonna start. Construction will start in the next week or two. It's not gonna be that long
Well,
of a thing. I don't feel like,
well,
and it
yeah, I'm just-
definitely could use volunteers on those parts of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I was like, I know I know you got to do what you got to do for like trail construction, but just like getting a lot of the wood out of there. I mean, there's already piles along the existing rink trail section back towards the rink. Like there's already piles there that need to come out. And I was just, if we can coordinate some volunteer, I know that like volunteers can't run chainsaws, but if people can schlep wood out of the forest, while staff or whoever is cutting stuff, like that might save us a lot of time in the building phase if we can just get started on the fire mitigation part.
Yeah, I would actually fire mitigation is so important on this piece, and we have had minimal volunteers show up when we've asked for volunteers on this particular project. I have a group of kids that comes up once a year, and they did all of that work last year, piling logs. So,
yeah,
we'll put a call out to the public to help haul logs and slash out of the woods for sure.
yeah. I mean, and I would, I know that there are at least a handful of people that would be happy to help coordinate, and get some people together to make this happen. So cool.
Unless there's anything else on that, I need to talk about one other thing really quickly, and I have to get off tonight. I need to do some things. I've got personal things going on. But I do need to talk about one other thing, and that was the attendance. The attendance is so important for PROSAB, and we have a small board, and when we're short, last month we didn't have quorum, and it was I know it was a funky month because we had to change our date and all of those things. But we've had multiple instances of I think PROSAB's requirement is that if you miss more than 3 meetings, that you have to be off the board. So if you're going to be missing that many meetings, consider whether or not you want to be on the board, because it is a very important thing to be in attendance.
Yeah, I'll echo that too and support it in that, like, we have 12 meetings a year. It's not that many. And they matter for functional boards, and everybody's service is valued. And if life is getting full and you just step down for any reason, we respect that for everybody. And so thank you for saying that. Nikki, do you want to do any Wingate stuff right now, or do you want to hold on that, like just discussion of, it's not so much that we walked it, it's kind of up to you.
We walked it and it's steep. It's cool. It's a cool thing. Talked about the idea, possibility of putting in the like a uphill bike trail as well as a foot trail. We have a lot of problems with the connectivity on Wingate. It drops out into the highway, so we'll have to deal with CDOT to try and get, if that's what we want to do, is try and get a crosswalk put in there. But that is a kind of a dangerous stretch of road because even though it's 25 miles an hour, nobody slows down.
Yeah.
So, getting a crosswalk in there might be a little bit challenging, and same with the upper part of it. It kind of connects to, Forest Service land and like the cell tower area. But then from there, getting people across to West Magnolia, that could be a CDOT battle, but and holy moly, does it need some mitigation. So we're gonna try and find some grants for fire mitigation, working with the fire department, on that. I'm, yeah, that's a big one. That's the one the fire department wants us to deal with most of all the parks that we have. That's the one the fire department is the most concerned about because of the direction that fire moves. That's it would, a lot of fuel. It would really benefit the entire town and trail users, to get a trail put in there just for the sake of a fire break.
Yeah, even if it was like just a multi-directional trail for starters, for that kind of thing, that you could like.
Are there?
Yeah.
Yeah, are there any existing like old mining grades or anything in there that could be a starting point for kind of getting in there to?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? I kind of disagree, Nikki, respectfully. Like, I think that power line grade is pretty accessible.
Oh, yeah, but you can't access the power line grid without crossing the highway.
Right. Yeah.
Or private property. So you have to
Once
cross.
Once
you get in there, yeah, there's up,
Yeah.
what, 150 feet up, there's an old power line for a
Yeah.
little
Okay.
bit of that.
Okay.
It's not old power line, it's current power line,
And-
but,
Yeah.
And Nikki, when you're saying crossing the highway, are you talking about crossing the highway at the town end or crossing the highway at the top?
either.
Right.
We parked at the cell phone tower and walked
And came
on the side of the
down.
highway to access,
Right.
just to make sure that we were on the right spot.
Right.
And then, but the lower down, the in-town part of it is probably the worst part for accessibility because there is no shoulder on that side of the road. There's
Right.
nothing there, and it's right where it changes from 35 to 25, but everybody's already doing 45, so,
Right. Isn't it right across from Tilden Park?
no,
Or pretty
it's
close?
it's
No,
in
not quite.
between Tilden and Jefferson. So if you're,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So there would
Yeah.
be like a nice way to like put a crosswalk in there that goes over to the other park. That's
I mean, it's kind of on a straighter part of the highway, so you might be able to get a crosswalk in there. It's the line sight, because it is in a 25 mile per hour zone. Line sight
definitely-
theoretically.
yeah.
When me and Sam went there the other day, I almost got smoked, and it was my own fault, but
Yeah.
So
we could maybe build, the other thing to think about though.
Here's a visual.
Yeah.
This is like rough, and don't take this as because this crosses into the property line where we can't cross into, just a GPX track that we did walk, with the natural landscape that exists, but it's
So we're going
here, if you're looking at it, this is, if you get West Pine Street in your mind there, you come up, this is sort of a natural access point between these two properties that we'd have to use. And then the grade in is quite open, like you could just about like, it's like a rugged experience, but you could like just about ride a bike, you could totally walk through all of this, all the way up to the top. And there are like game trails and benches in here that naturally exist pretty well. And like, you're not stepping over logs the whole time. There is mitigation that would need to be done for sure, but like, there is some natural grade there to work with. And then this is like the challenge point Nikki's referencing with CDOT. And then over here, there seems like there's potential to connect in with the Forest Service if they were open to the idea. But that would have to like, that's just a discussion that has to be had. If that's easier to see that, like it might be a pain.
You might possibly be able to get a pedestrian bridge across the highway right there too. That'd be the other
That'd be
potential.
cool. And like the parking is either here, maybe you put parking here, a little lot or something.
Why do you need parking?
I don't know. You don't necessarily need it. It's a question of like, what do we want to do with it long term? And is it gonna be something people want to park at? And so do we want to just like think ahead? of, like,
Is it
planning?
close enough to West Mag that people would just park there if they're paying it?
Not really. Yeah, it's like, it like
need another
creates
connection.
connection to rogue Forest Service trails that people would take to get to West Mag.
You still have to climb over that last.
Yeah,
Right,
like cell phone
switchback.
tower lines like mine past this property up here. And so it really isn't like, you wouldn't logically ever think like, I'm parking West Mag and go walk there.
Okay.
Yeah, if anything, you probably naturally just park at the cell phone tower lot area,
Mhm.
and that's gonna be your problem area. Or like where parking gets put in some capacity with an agreement or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Another
you'd be-
way to get out of Big Spring, so we also like don't, because it's right by the Snapper Cut, right? So.
Yeah,
we
right.
don't want to-
I don't know how much that impacts it, but like, it seems that.
Don't you have to go up that last? There's another section of grade there that you have to go up between those two last switchbacks, right? Or no?
Yeah,
Okay. I agree with you. I think that's probably a true thing that we would want to like think about that.
yeah, I think,
Yeah, you wanna. Yeah. But I think what we could do also is like, that's probably part of the analysis. One thing we could do, I'm just throwing this out there. It's probably big enough to be worth looking at a GoCo planning grant to look at what it could
Yeah.
look like.
Yeah.
And they could look at that connectivity and parking issue, because the trail, I mean, whatever trailhead there is, if it's like super popular, it's never gonna be, enough probably. But it is like, it could be, to Luke's point, this is like one of those critical connector pieces if you wanted to get towards West Mag.
yeah. Yeah, I think.
Great.
it's a good point.
Forest Service, I mean, there's trails, the,
Yeah.
Nikki, or is she done?
the
Or-
Tarot Trail.
No, I'm here.
I think it's like-
Me and Sam also found what looked like a mine in there. Do you know if they're about mining in there? They look like there was
I
an
mean,
attic.
I would say it's likely, but I
Okay.
don't know. I haven't seen the mine yet.
Okay, well, we could get money. All I was thinking is if there's a mine, that's easy to get money. So
All right, well, why don't we pause on that, if it makes sense, and then just like, Nikki, I know you gotta go, and I'll ask like wrap up wise, what's our functional next steps there as an advisory board, or are there any at the moment?
I think right now what we need is, Britt's been working, there's been some challenges on the plat for that property, and she, I
Like the actual
believe.
legal side of.
Yeah, just the way it was transferred made it
Okay.
complicated, but she's been working on that for the last couple months. I think it's either freshly done or like very close to done.
Yeah.
And once that's all done, I think the next step is just remembering, like maybe it's good to review the easement for you guys, just so you know what's on there and everything. And then when you think about trails, like the options would be like, we could look at like a GoCo. Because one of the things I was thinking about is we could try to go for a GoCo grant to just like do something with trail connectivity in general,
Yeah.
but that could be a part of it. Like try to scope it so we can figure out what that looks like. If it's like, because I think what you probably would want is like the climbing trail and then whatever you're gonna do on the downhill side.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have down
Yeah.
the trails, of course, like.
And then we had talked about too, like it could potentially be like not a bike. Well, I don't
Some
know.
kind of recreation.
Yeah. Somewhere where you would maybe hang out to take loops and things like that. Like kids could hang out, like where they could do little
Like
crossovers and yeah.
Bike park style thing, or there's also interest in like an archery course.
Yeah.
Is a thing, and there's interest in disc golf, and so like different things like that.
Yeah, just having
Conservation
that-
easement really is really tricky in that one. They were very clear with Wingate about what we could and couldn't do. The only
Yeah.
thing we were allowed to do is trails.
Okay, so
Maybe that's like what it is, and like just figuring out. I don't know if you guys want to all take a walk, but it's the right time of year for it. And looking at the potential alignments, because I think if you get the climbing trail, the rest of it is pretty easy. But
yeah,
it's really the access, and then maybe Nikki and I could try to reach out to CDOT and just see
there,
what their initial like gut check is on it.
cool.
But I think it would be good to be thinking about. One of the things I'd love to see is like some thoughts about a work plan, like what you guys think are like
Yeah.
prioritizing. And I know we've got the master plan is like you know, we're kind of in the space where we can have that conversation. I'd also love to like schedule a work session with you guys with the BOT to like have a, just like a touch base and like say, this is what we're caring about right now. And, you know, that kind of thing, which would be super cool. We just did that with SAB. But I think like this should be one of our things that we want to try to, you know, just start thinking about what it looks like. But
One thing I want to throw in there too that we make sure we think about is, you know, the fire mitigation, you know, as Nikki said, is huge, but getting grants or funding to tackle that might be more achievable. But you know, like we've talked about, you need to be able to get machinery in there to do some of that fire mitigation. And if we could double up and like, okay, the fire access roads that they have to put in to do some of the fire mitigation could become part of our, you know, up trail network.
we're talking to Ned Fire about that. They're looking at a grant that we could use almost to verbatim do what you just did, potentially.
Just
and
like
do
put an
the-
up track in that
Yeah.
also allows for fire mitigation.
Yeah.
to Get in there.
And I think that's a steep enough area that you want emergency access into the middle of it, no matter what. So
Yeah, so you want to grade it that you
Yeah.
get some kind of gate
Yeah.
type thing. Cool. Anything else on that? Otherwise, I'm happy to move on. And we kind of we let that all run a little long, but thank you for the updates, Nikki. And
Mhm.
Jonathan, you're up with town administrator update. Nikki, if you gotta go.
Yep, I'll see you guys
you.
next month, and I'll get you an
Thank you.
update on that Rinklink thing as soon as possible.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Nikki. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Nikki.
Well, we talked about Eldora. That's a big
Yeah.
thing. There's a lot of other things happening in town though that are equally important. And I think one of the big ones that I'd love you guys to be involved in as much as you'd like to be is the Big Springs Egress project. We just had a meeting on Tuesday about that. And that project's been going on for a long time, 20 years. And I'm trying to bring it to a conclusion. So that's where we're at right now. So last summer we took a walk with the boards and just the stakeholder group to look at, well, first we met here and we looked at it's been 7 routes considered out of that neighborhood. Of course, one was approved back in 2019 and then it failed for other reasons, but that was the route that had been kind of designed and everything was good. And then we went back to the drawing board and now there's 2 routes that could potentially be possible. One route goes to Magnolia and kind of just basically goes from near Jim's house. It comes up that there's a really big cut in the road right there. So it kind of comes up that road and then goes off towards Magnolia. So that's kind of route A. And then route B is a route that goes around the reservoir and then it goes down into the canyon. That's the route that is preferred by Ned Fire because it's safer for a lot of reasons. And it's mostly because of fire modeling and thinking about where our winds come from and how fire is likely to act when it comes. And some of the Magnolia route could potentially create like a
John.
chimney effect.
Hey, John, can I interrupt you for a quick minute? I'm gonna head into the canyon, so I'm gonna be off for like 20 minutes, but I will be back there in person as soon as I can. I'll pop in.
All right, cool.
All right, see you in a few.
So those maps are in the basement, or not the basement, but by the front door if you guys want to take a look. We're also going to get KMZ files for that so people can go hike it. And we're trying to get a hike together to go out there and just look at them. There's challenges on the Boulder County route, or the Boulder Canyon route. Most specifically, if you know where like the Star Wars bike trail is, like there's a big gulch right there and that would have to be crossed and then we'd have to get down into the canyon.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is our money is all about planning. And so what we need to do is advance these routes to final design. And so that's what the board decided, or well, was hearing about on Tuesday, is just like, these are the routes that we need to finish studying so we know whether or not they're feasible. And likely one of them is the most possible route for us to build out of Big Springs. So the nice thing is if they both work, we'll have 2 routes, which is actually what is preferred by Ned Fire because there could be a potential where you might want to go one way or the other. And as soon as they hit final design, then I can start going for grants, and that's a big deal. So I just wanted to invite you, if you want to see the routes, we can go out and walk them. They're pretty simple to follow, though. If you have Google Earth on your phone, once we get these KMZ files, you could literally just walk it along. But the boards are downstairs. The board will talk about it again, and that's the Board of Trustees on the 5th. So we're taking comment through that period, and that'll help inform the design. That's been a big one. We have a couple grants outstanding that we're working on right now. We're trying to get all the grants off our books, just given the kind of the landscape around federal grants right now and what's happening. There's two other ones that are big SMS grant. That's a safe crossings grant for the highway. So there's several crosswalks, protected crosswalks with crossing beacons that we're trying to put in. I am thinking you'll see those done by the end of the summer. We're very, very close with CDOT.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool. And then the other one is improvements on First Street, putting in a different parking alignment, doing some significant improvements all the way to the RTD lot, which I think will be super cool, and a wider sidewalk. So that's happening. There's a lot of other projects that are happening right now around town. Our streets team has been grading. And then we got 2 goalie washers in a row, which is a little deflating for them, but they've been working real hard on keeping the roads graded. And, you know, we don't use salt in our roads, which is, I think, a matter of pride for us, but it does mean that when water comes, it's not as easy to keep the dirt together. So it requires a little bit of repacking essentially, which is fine. But we were about ready to switch to culverts and drainage, that crew, because we just have a small crew. So we're going around. Navajo needed some love. So they're working up there, and then they'll be hitting the culverts and drainage. We have a project.
Are we getting culverts and drainage?
Yeah, so they'll be working on it all the rest of the summer, and they did a lot last summer. So that's one of those projects that had gotten paused for a while. So they did a lot last summer, and then hopefully progressively every summer it gets better.
Outside of the planning, how long should this take?
Not long. We working with Jesse Seaver's firm to replace some of our worst culverts, just so our crew can be working on the ones that we're keeping.
Gotcha.
And that just keeps things moving, so we can make sure that we're always improving our drainage like all the time. And then we're going to replace 6 culverts, just our 6 worst. And that's one of the things we want to do, is continue making sure our ditches are effective.
Does that free up a lot of time when those are working
Yeah, it does.
versus keeping up with it?
There's a lot of them that have just been smushed over years, like with plows. And so it's just, and some of it is like, there's culverts that are very critical, but they were put in 20 years ago and then forgotten about. So then we're like, oh, there's like, one example is near the fire station. There's a culvert that was damaged.
Yeah.
So we're replacing that to fix that.
Trail, I saw him do a ton of work
Yeah.
out there, but then after this big rain, I saw a lot of that work just get.
That grade is difficult.
It is.
So I'm actually pretty proud of them. The parks team too, they have like worked real hard this summer. Chipeta, the trail over there is looking good. They've been keeping up on a lot of things, and they're our de facto building maintenance team. And, you know, I don't know if y'all know it, but the visitor center almost burned down in the spring because of faulty water heater, and they got it going. They, you know, through spit and duct tape essentially, but it's exactly what it needs to be right now. So that was cool. But I can't give them enough props. They've been working really hard, and they've got a couple of temp workers right now that are doing a great job, and we love having them here. And then I think ultimately the rest of the stuff, we're working on the budget. We're trying to be, one of the things we're doing is really trying to be careful about our finances. Like that's the phase we're in right now, is we just need to be really careful about how we're spending money and what we're thinking about and how we're doing it. But I do think that there's some really positive things happening in town right now, which are going to help. So those are like the really big items, but every single department is working really hard on cool stuff. Our water wastewater teams have been doing a little fire mitigation around our water treatment facility. We would really like to harden our water where the water comes in from the creek at the water treatment facility. I don't know if you know what that is. It's just on Eldora Road.
Honestly, I don't know what that means.
So there's a point in the creek where we take our water. And so it's basically a dam that brings water into a diversion pond, and then that's how we pump it into the station. And what we're doing is looking at some grants to see about how we can harden it in the case of a fire, so that if there is a mudslide or something, we can still access the water. And then we're doing some work. Our water tanks have been inspected this summer. We're doing a lot of work around those, looking at our generators at our tanks, because it's a pretty critical part of our infrastructure. We're probably going to replace one of the generators with a nicer, quieter, more efficient, sustainable one, I guess.
Cool, sounds great.
Yeah, and that's cool too. So lots of stuff going on.
Awesome. Volunteer program update, is there anything we haven't on there? Is there an update there or something to know?
I think that where we are right now is it's pretty much if we ignore chainsaws, like if we don't do chainsaws, everything else is fine.
Okay.
So I think that that's good. The one thing I had trouble with, we had tried to get a volunteer email address, and I cannot get it approved through our IT policy. That's the one thing that I can't do.
To what?
We had tried to get an email address set up like at netherlandco.org, and it is not flying with IT people.
Or you like email?
Yeah, like just to coordinate, like when we're having these episodes coming from the town.
Oh,
But I think that there's a way around it. I think we can work with either distro like you all have for your email
Yeah.
or potentially like through Nikki's email.
or just print a banner and put it up.
Yeah, I think that's the other option. But I think for the most part, we're safe as long as it's
Yeah.
not chainsaws.
Okay, sweet, that's great.
Rink too, like that's the other thing. Oh, sorry.
Possible to bring on a limited number of people with chainsaws and then have other people do the brush collection and whatnot, because a lot of the work that needs doing needs chainsaws to do it.
Agree. And
Can you run that under like some sort of private situation
Maybe.
instead, because it's such a liability?
it could be, there is a massive liability for it. And I think that's the problem, but I think it's important to keep working on it. And so I think Sam and I actually were having a talk about this earlier, and there may be a possibility, but we just need to keep developing
But bottom line, I'm hearing is like, people can volunteer.
people can
As long
volunteer.
as-
Yeah, the
which
chainsaw
totally
thing,
Understandable.
yeah.
And maybe we'll figure that out.
Yeah, the other-
Maybe there's a different. app.
Chief Schmidtman said that we could potentially do their Sawyer training that their fire teams do.
Mhm.
And that could be an option too, there might be a pathway. It's complicated.
Yeah,
We need a path.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of work to do. It's gonna take a lot of people and a lot of chainsaws to get it done.
Well, there's competing concerns that are equally important
Yeah.
here, and we just got to make sure we get it all right. Because I think that's important, and also important is just making sure that we create safe situation for everybody. So I think we can keep working on it and find a good solution.
I'm a right guy, sorry.
anything
Everything
else,
that needs to be doing too.
anything else update wise that you want to share at the moment? Or?
No, just appreciate what you guys are doing here. It's a lot of work, and we are thankful. The strategic plan that the board's going to do, we are going to try this year to make sure that we're really thinking about our whole structure of boards and advisory boards. I think you're likely to see the board create a new ordinance that kind of codifies what you guys are doing, which is cool. That just puts you guys in a better spot and make sure that you're more connected to the main policy engine that is the Board of Trustees. And I think nothing to do but go up from there. So I think it's exciting.
It is, yeah. All right, we'll go to Prost,
Okay, great. I'm gonna screen share.
and then we'll be able to wrap it up.
Yes, we probably, I don't know if we'll be able to cover this all in 30 minutes, so it may get extended to the next one.
Do whatever you think makes sense.
Yeah, CT, if I specifically wanted to talk to you, I don't know if you got any of my emails or Nikki's emails about the Prost.
I'm sorry, I haven't been on top of that. I'm sure they're in there in my inbox.
Okay, so Nikki had highlighted that you have run community engagement at the town level.
Mhm.
And for the trails, like as we are prioritizing these different things to construct, trails to construct under these various objectives, she said that you would have the information from the voice of the people.
Okay.
Do you have any memory of like what that
Regarding,
looks like?
regarding, when you say the voice of the people, do you just mean like,
Like community engagement, like what are people asking for the most? Like what is, at the different events that you ran at farmers markets, I think
Okay.
last year,
yep, the
related
public
to
shreds.
community
Um,
engagement? Yeah.
there was a big outpouring of support for a connector trail that ran along Stinky Gulch, connecting the north side of town. south
I
side.
think that'd be a cool idea. Just,
We have a formalized Stinky Gulch Trail.
Mhm.
Do you think that's what that's referring to?
Yeah, most likely. I mean,
Okay,
that's a road right now, in a manner of speaking.
okay.
A difficult one to drive and not an easy one to walk. I mean, I don't have it right off the top of my head. But a lot of the public charrettes had to do with better connectivity between town and the various neighborhoods. Improving kind of existing trails that are there, but they're kind of community trails. There's a lot of them on the elementary school hill that run through a lot of forestry land, but they kind of touch and go, come into town, come out of town, and end up down on Caribou Road. Those could all use some cleaning up. There's a lot of talk about getting a bathroom in along the reservoir someplace, so people can, or a pagoda, some kind of facility there. There's a lot of talk about working better with CDOT or who's ever in control of the trails that run around the reservoir. Generally speaking, people are concerned about fire. Fire mitigation is a huge aspect of it. I know it's not exactly trails related, but something that's such a common refrain that I hear that it bears bringing up.
Okay.
I'm most connected with neighborhoods around the elementary school, the Sunnyside area.
Okay, and I have tried to get Nikki's thoughts on this because, I mean, I think as PROSAB, we can weigh in on what we think, but I would have thought that she would be like the expert on what's most important.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate she had to drop, but she also felt adamantly that we needed everyone here to weigh in as well. So we had roast. Nikki, Luke, and Casey came to the first one, and we went through the first 4 goals in the action plan. And so that was kind of within these different objectives that are also aligned to the master town plan. We prioritize the different actions and put owners and supporters for each of them. So we did that for overall vision, parks, rec, open space. And I'm going to let you guys review that on your own. It's been sent out several times to everyone, asked for comments. So we just need to do trails to finish the PROST, which is like, we're almost there. No one came to the second session. I know attendance has been rough this summer, but so today in like our next 25 minutes, like ideally what I'd like to do is go through each of these objectives and then talk through these different actions and decide what the priority is.
Sure.
Yeah, so the first objective, as you can see on screen sharing, if anyone needs to look, is to increase connectivity and expand the in-town trail network. So there's like 8 or so actions. And as you can see here, this comment from Alex, like we both were kind of wary about having one of the actions be like create a plan, because it's a plan within a plan.
Yeah.
So that's just something that we wanted to bring up as maybe deleting that or potentially getting rid of that one. But then the more specific trails that it lays out are this Ned Link Rink Trail. I believe that's the same thing as this one.
I don't really understand that one because just down the road from the rink, if you cross the street, there's a direct path into the Mud Lake Trail system. Like you'd have to cross the road in any case. So
yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
sure what the
confused
vision
as
is.
well. We brought this up with Nikki in our in-person meeting, and she felt strongly that we needed
Like from tennis and rink to Mud Lake, like. Cause it
Yeah.
does feel pretty connected, quite frankly.
I'm
But, like,
with you because I
you're-
walk this trail a lot.
Yeah.
But
And you are over there.
there's a little stretch where you could put something on the side in the same way that with a school road, there's a.
Is there that
I'm
way?
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt
Yeah,
you
you go
and
ahead.
keep going.
Keep going.
I'm just gonna get through those
Yeah,
guys
please.
before we
Yeah,
ask for
yeah.
comment.
Please.
So construct a trail from Rodeo Court to Bridge across Middle Boulder Creek. Construct a trail from West 3rd Street to Lower 4th Street. Construct a trail from the East 1st Street parking lot to the pedestrian bridge along the river. Construct a trail from the new Middle Boulder Creek Trail to East 1st Street. Construct a trail from East 1st Street to East 2nd Street. Construct a trail from Caribou Road to Ned Elementary School. Construct a trail from the roundabout to Barker Reservoir, and then formalize Stinky Gulch Trail.
Is it
Yeah.
fast? Is the road to the high school, like the trail or the path to the high school on there from like along Eldora Road? I know it's not technically a trail per se, but there is a need for, that's probably a big, I'm just
I
curious
guess the
about that.
question is, do we feel like we can actually affect that first because of the lack of, like, because it's not on town land
I think
or on PROSAB?
I think that's a good question for you guys, but I think that is something that I know is a priority for a lot of folks.
It's like an obvious need.
Can you repeat what I would put here?
Some kind of
A
a trail that connects Old Town to the high school, essentially.
that is one that came up on the shreds too.
Okay,
Everybody wants to, it's just like not tell them.
okay.
It's a complicated one.
Very,
And I think I had basically, that's what one point said, like, well, it's really hard to affect. At the moment, let's affect what we can first.
Gotcha.
I'm open to it, but that's, I put it lower on the board for that reason.
okay. Do you guys approve of getting rid of the action to create a plan?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so that's an easy, delete that.
And the rest in there is like valuable, but it's not an action. Really. Prioritize it
The rest in, sorry.
in that box, like prioritize.
Yeah, it was just like prioritizing
Cool.
the stuff
Yeah.
that's in the post. So then, does anyone feel very strongly about any of these actions? Like,
In terms of-
again, this is why I felt like I couldn't really, a lot of these places I haven't walked, like, I'm not sure about the need myself versus
Yeah.
others. I don't know if anyone feels very strongly about what should be prioritized number one or how we want to do this, but in the past, we had like numbered the actions in number of priority.
Did you get that in your shred data at all, like about what was most critical or?
Yeah, we had kind of been through this before, and again, I'm sorry I don't have it right in front of me, but like Stinky Gulch was one that was like repeated again and again by folks. That would tie kind of the Barker Res to North Ned
Yeah.
and Mud Lake, et cetera, the trail systems that already exist. And that would basically come out at effectively across the street from the Caribou Room down to where the garage is now, it's called.
East Shore.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's a great trail, adds a lot of trail. I think it does provide quite a bit of good connectivity. And then the way I would look at this is what's easiest to do
Mhm.
and
Achievable, yeah.
and then just like I think they're all important to do, and they all have a lot of value. And so I would just say like they're functionally probably all not that hard to do with the right resources. But are there any of these that we look at and go, that's going to be hard because of neighbors, something like that?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there are trails from Caribou Road up to the Netherland Elementary. I mean, the only thing they lack is signage. Now, they do run into forestry land and then back, but they also touch all of the neighborhoods there. There's one formalized town trail that runs alongside the sort of soccer fields, and it goes down to, what is that circle down there? Sundance Circle? And that's a labeled, maintained trail. But from that circle, there's a system of trails that connects down to Caribou Road. Getting those cleaned up would be very achievable. Getting signage on them would be very doable. And there is signage up there by the soccer fields.
All right.
Bending that down wouldn't be.
So I think if we can take that concept, I'll throw it out there. Does everybody like that idea of like, if there's a trail that can be just formalized
Mhm,
and signed, like that's a priority, because you basically don't have to do it.
mhm.
And then it's now official.
I might suggest a strategy. I think it's great.
You
and
have a
I-
benefit.
No, I just wanted to add to it.
Yeah.
I think on the other ones, because of context of what might happen in different situations, like if Boulder County was like, hey, let's build this Eldora Road
Right.
thing, like giving yourself the flexibility to be like, oh, we can knock that off the list would be cool. Like, and maybe you don't have to prioritize exactly like,
Doing it.
or I'm not, or maybe like an ABC or something, but like something to give yourself some flexibility if we like just have something fall in our lap.
I mean, if something's easy, then it's just like, just do it. I think it's the idea. Like if it's somebody else, like, only wants to do it, and it's like, oh yeah, it's 8th on the list, but it can be done,
Okay.
so just do it. So
So we're gonna start by formalizing
any existing
any
trail.
existing trails, right? So we've done that with number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then added 3 for the connector trail based on community input. And then, for these other ones,
Stinky Gulch will need some work
A
to
lot,
make it.
yeah.
Well, with the right tools, it's probably pretty straightforward to get it like pretty walkable and rideable. But I like that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
aspirational and it has big impact of trail mileage in town.
based on these other ones around roundabout to Barker. I feel
So,
like that's like a sidewalk, not a trail.
Yeah,
I'm just
Definitely
thinking
have,
about that from a concept, like, just like knowing the different options.
like down Second, is that what the plan would be, or?
I have no idea.
We are planning on-
It's like pretty walkable as is. So I feel like it's kind of low. It sounds cool. It'd be nice, hey.
Because your goal
make it
here
that
is,
way for the blind.
your goal here is connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like a trail network that we could publish and say, hey, you're on a trail.
You may have some sidewalks in there, but I think
Yeah.
maybe that's true, is like, because the DDA is gonna be working on that to try to make
Yeah.
some improvements in that space, so.
I think that's low on the. To me.
yeah, and that one falls, I'm not sure, more towards streets, open space parks, but.
I feel like I can, it would be nice to have a trail, but there's like a lot of private property, like a trail kind of thing in versus
Yeah.
sidewalk, et cetera. And I feel, and I actually like walk that pretty regularly, just feel like
Yeah,
it's pretty
Sort of
walkable.
trail east.
for some of these that are like all
They're
in downtown, like East First to East Second, Boulder Creek to East First to the pedestrian bridge, Third to Lower Fourth, like these are all in town.
And is it town land?
I don't know where they all are, but that would,
Quite frankly,
it's 10 times easier for us to do it on, like, town land. That maybe is one of the other priority.
yeah, if it's on town land, we can just do it basically
Hopefully,
relatively easy.
yeah.
Do you guys know what this rodeo court is to bridge across Middle Boulder Creek?
Rodeo Court is down where those little townhomes are, right by Barker. So it's probably something just going back up towards the top of the reservoir or something.
I don't think that we have the resources to be building a bridge, pretty much any kind.
I wouldn't rule it out, like, just, let's not rule out resources.
Yeah.
Well, you could identify, because if I can get the money to build a bridge, the
Yeah.
connectivity into that bridge is probably something you guys want to talk about, but we could talk about it with,
Dream about perfect, and then let's see what we can get done.
where are your biggest gaps in the network, I guess, is like what I'd say is like, what would give you the,
These are great questions that Maya or Nikki could answer. So what I'm gonna propose is, I'm just gonna have Nikki review this and just put a placeholder for numbers for now. And then have her weigh in, because I think she might feel more strongly.
Yeah.
And she clearly knows the trails better.
She'll also have a better sense of what's
Yeah.
achievable.
So moving on to objective 5.2, overcome barriers to creating a connected trail network through collaboration with external stakeholders. I'll also add for like these ones for responsible and like resources. Those are like different. What I think probably what fits is like Parks and Rec is the one responsible for making the trails, but then they can fall on PROSAB or volunteer resident groups for additional support potentially.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if there's any other like external resources for 5.1 that come to mind for folks. But that's just.
do you have Simba and everybody like that in there, or
Who's Simba?
like all the mountain bike groups, like,
Like the kids mountain bike.
yeah, and NAR and everybody?
Hmm,
Because they could potentially, I mean, if they're bike optimized trails too.
okay. Yeah, I don't think we've named NAR or Simba. In any of these other ones. But I'll just put,
Like local recreation. Or just
Yeah.
recreation.
yeah,
Describe it.
okay.
I will say though, like creating connected trail network seems like you just have to with basically whatever.
Yeah,
You have to sit down.
yeah,
And I
okay,
think
so,
on that route, like we have started last summer with a relationship with the Forest Service, and things have shifted there a little bit with who's left, but some of the
Mhm.
people are still there at the top level that I took up for mountain bike rides.
yeah,
And they want to work with Network, they have a good relationship with PROSAB and work with us on connectivity. So like, that alone is like one of our things.
mhm,
And a good example of that is, and I'll try to, is the Wingate property.
Mhm.
There is an opportunity to connect through Forest Service all the way up to the Westmac
Yeah.
stuff, and if they're open to it.
Okay, I'm gonna reel it
Yeah.
in. So 5.2, we have only 3 actions to prioritize. One is, so this is all under overcoming barriers to creating a connected trail network by working with external stakeholders. Work with the Safe Routes to School program to expand and improve connected streets better and utilize the right of way. Collaborate with CDOT, Boulder County, and US Forest Service to compete the planning, implementation, and development of trail segments. Where there's trail gaps, especially where they can coincide with right of way. And then collaborate with willing landowners to complete planning and development of trails that cross through private properties.
I think we have a,
My opinion is 3, 1, 2 for priority, like in that order.
Does anyone feel different?
just slightly, I don't, I'm not gonna die on this hill or anything, but I think we're gonna have a better chance, particularly in the year ahead, of collaborating with willing landowners and making progress rather than coordinating with CDOT. Because coordination with CDOT is a very involved process that we've had pretty variable luck on in the past.
Pause, is that the case, or is it pretty easy? I just want to fact check. Or it just depends.
I think that the thing that is tricky is CDOT. Yes, I would say that our relationships are improving, but I think the Boulder County US Forest Service relationships are also, I think what I would say is developing those relationships further is probably a really critical path for all of that regard. Like, I kind of agree with both of you. I guess.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you can. No, that's what I'm curious. I just wanted to check, like, is CDOT really hard, or is that just
It's
something
getting,
you say?
it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's just continuing.
I hear it, I just want to know if
Yeah.
it's true, you know, like, it may not be actually.
But the other thing is Safe Routes to School is a CDOT program, just to know that, like, so,
Okay. Do you work with the same
I'm
people?
not gonna kick a big fuss.
Yeah.
Okay.
The order, it's just a thought.
I think
I'll
it's
tell you,
always
my
challenging.
background one is that Forest Service, we already have a relationship and a verbal interest in. So like, basically it's on track.
Mhm.
That's why I would say that. And landowners are totally variable. Could be easy.
Yeah.
Could be a pain.
True.
Do you-
I would do 2, 1, 3, because landowners
Sure,
are
so, yeah.
such a pain, but that's the only
And
thing
you
I
can
would
do that
say.
because Safe Routes is part of CDOT and then it's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, those are actual entities I would work with versus.
Yeah.
I'm game for that.
For who would be, is that like PROSAB's job to collaborate? It's you, this is
Probably.
you, okay. Town administrator.
You could do /ProSap because I've like.
Yeah, we
started
work
to
with
develop a relationship and they're pretty open to.
Yeah.
We were trying to have one person
Great.
responsible. But we can be a resource
That sounds great.
and then. Okay, so I'll pull that down.
'Cause it's
Then,
really
is
fun.
it okay?
It's all right.
Yeah,
Prioritize
I
maintenance.
think it's on the
for-
sensor, but
We have 3 things to prioritize.
Focusing on
One,
this.
designate, doesn't matter from the dark. Primary routes,
Actually,
along community trails to prioritize connectivity and maintenance. Partner with regional volunteer groups for trail repair and maintenance. Pursue funding to complete and prioritize adequate updates to trail infrastructure, especially in high volume and critical use areas.
2, 1, 3
And
is.
then Alex had said, we want to consider adding the following from the comp plan. Develop a trail and park maintenance volunteer program. Maya had said that's the first goal already. So I think Nikki always wants us to prioritize funding first. So I would maybe put this as one, but curious what other people think.
I would put 2, 1, 3. I'm pretty open, but like, we have a lot of people who want to do trail repair work already. And so that's kind of like available to us. It just has to be made known to the right people that are interested in doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And people come out. So that's why I say 1 there, and then designating routes and zones to prioritize, like we can do that. And then funding, maybe it's better as a first priority, so it gets done, and the others are just easy to do. So I don't know, it's like, they're almost kind of like,
I
it
would
comes down to
do-
capacity of the professional team, I think, is
on
part of that.
funding.
But I think I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, that is, like, to your point, like, having our parks team needs infusion of cash. a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, okay, so put
Maybe-
that as a priority so that it gets focused.
Maybe 3, 2, 1.
That
Yeah,
makes
three,
sense.
two, one.
Okay,
And then if we're looking back at this plan at any point in time, which we should be, it's like, hey, let's priority,
Okay.
figure it out.
and then this is all about the maintenance of trails. Who is the owner, like Parks Department for that, I would assume?
Seems appropriate to me.
Okay. And
Thank you for meeting this.
And then for resources, ideally there's like volunteer groups, PROSAB. Anything else that comes to mind for these trail maintenance?
Yeah, but then I guess that's their.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think really this is like Parks and Rec and then ProSab, the designation portion.
Okay,
And then like volunteer groups go in the next one
okay.
as well.
Um,
And then I'd say resources in addition with the funding are like the different like groups that can help us, like the college programs and stuff like that. It can be, maybe they can help write a grant.
okay, so like,
Say, Rick,
The lights won't stay on, so.
just jump in, we're trying to wrap this up.
right, we're gonna think on those additional resources.
I think it's good though.
If they come to mind, just let me know. Last one, ensure all trails in town boundaries are accessible to all. Okay, we've got
A question,
quite a few.
does that mean mountain bike trails are gonna go through like adaptive bike analysis and certification?
I mean, I think if they're on town land, like to a degree, they should. Like, it's a good idea and it's a point of something that's pretty cool.
Okay. It,
Sounds harder.
I will tell you, I just went through that in a different project and it may not be possible to get every single,
Right. So is there like
Yeah.
maybe there's a percentage we'd hope for or something?
yeah, but that should be like one of the guiding principles or something, or
Yeah, and here's a question for you real quick, and then we'll come right back to this or to else. It's like, does it tend to make a better trail when we talk about like stuff that's in town?
good, because like
Is it
corners is where it really matters, is the thing.
cool? Great. Like if it improves sustainability of trails, it makes it better and more. If it's like in town, better.
Just if we have like crazy, if we do like really stokey stuff, like it may
Yeah.
not possibly totally.
Can
do
we
that.
have Stokey stuff and the other?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, is like you might want to just give yourself a little flexibility, so.
That's a good phrase.
Yeah.
Well, just, and I think just like, I think there should be evaluation on it, something like some of the trails in those meadows, like you might actually do more damage.
Right.
You know, environmental damage.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop. Let's go back.
Okay,
So,
like this comment where Alex was like, can you define what we mean by improve accessibility? Because it's a pretty broad statement. And Maya pulled these in from the multimodal transportation plan, but she's not sure which of these intersections are considered trails under the Parks Department and suggested potentially deleting.
Yeah, like that
So
lot near Udon. Tide,
yeah,
not sure.
can I delete these?
That's what he says.
for now?
let's see,
You want to just go through what?
a second, but it goes to, yeah, I don't think that's,
These are all like in town where I would say
These are in
maybe
the,
sidewalks, not trails.
these are also like covered in the sub area plan. The DD is gonna be working on a lot of those things.
Yeah.
And like the private property ones are just,
yeah.
so those are gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah, just to,
Okay,
I would say yes, I think that's what we
great.
should do.
So now we only have to prioritize three. One is conduct a more in-depth ADA analysis of existing conditions for each trail network. Two, maintain crusher fine surfaces to reduce impacts to natural weathering. And three, add additional wayfinding and direction throughout the trail network to promote confidence in travel and participation.
I'd say 3-1-2 or 3-2-1, because we can actually do something about maintaining the crusher fine surfaces and adding additional signage.
Yeah, well, and the second one, I would put something like where appropriate or something, because there are lots of, not lots, but there are trails, trail network where. Well, they're not, I'm thinking of like the school, the trail that comes down from the school.
like that's got pressure fines on it and it just gets washed away. It's just not the right,
Yeah,
it's
you-
not the right material.
You could change it to armoring. Like,
Yeah,
you could
right.
just-
I think just like where appropriate is an easy way to just say where it helps, we should. But they're definitely.
Is there, I guess I'm confused, why would, the in-depth ADA analysis, why would that be last? If this is, the whole objective is about making trails accessible to all?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that type of analysis is.
Well, and
Just like
priority,
we're talking about what we can do, sorry.
well, and at least on some of the other plans like this, we've done like priority and then we've done like scale or impact or some other metric that kind of says these are more achievable or might have more impact, even if they're not necessarily the highest priority, they might be more. But like, we can still say this is the highest priority. Just,
In that case, then I think that makes sense to make it the highest priority, because if you have an ADA trail network that's like very good for it, like your whole trail network's gonna be better.
Yeah.
And then as you start going and look at that, places to armor it and things like that, like you're gonna have already thought about that.
Yeah.
Let's just redo the work.
To me, when I think about accessibility, I'm like, this crusher fine services is all about natural weathering. I'm not seeing the tie between that and accessibility, maybe.
it's just the crusher fines is like the sort of de facto ADA compliant trail service.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we've got lots of it to maintain, and that's
Maybe
nothing
it's more
we can
like
actually do.
maintenance, updates, to like surface updates or surface improvements to reduce impacts of natural weather.
We can analyze things all day, every day for a very long time, but maintaining the trails by putting down fresh crusher, packing it, that has an impact on what people will be doing next weekend. So I put that at the top or second.
Okay. And then wayfinding is third.
Which is tough to say, because I really like I think if you become your wayfinding sucks. You know,
Yeah.
I would put that at the top or second, not at the bottom. I think.
I think it's a situation we all feel
Yeah.
like.
And we can
Yeah.
maybe make a note of just.
These are all pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your thoughts, Gil? You've been running this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because for a lot of these, we were like, it would be great if we could have a tie,
Right.
but we're like specifically trying to have a numbered priority.
Well, then let's try and do that.
I think that and there is some repetition in these priorities within the various goals. So
Yeah.
like, because there's stuff around, I think there might be stuff around wayfinding in either parks or rec.
Yeah.
Or open space. I agree that wayfinding seems like low hanging fruit.
It's something we can do.
But I also think that the way that we're defining priority is not what's easiest to do. It's like what is most important.
Yeah.
And doing the analysis, I think is like kind of a good step one, like, okay,
Yeah.
let's figure out where do we need wayfinding, where do we need extra fines, where do we?
Seems like order of
What
operations.
trails are okay,
Yeah.
what trails need work.
I agree.
That's
It's
kind
a little longer range thinking too, sure. Okay. Instead of just doing the thing, we plan it and then do the thing once.
I think analysis paralysis, that was holding us back. And then we ought to.
It is.
prioritize more
Yeah,
concrete
that's
things.
But this is like, this in-depth ADA analysis is something that could be a grad student project for a couple months and then it's done. Meanwhile, you know that Nikki is going to continue to do 2 and 3 because like she's constantly doing 2 and 3 without any.
And she can say, look, maybe I can't do one with my staff right now, but we can find somebody in the meantime, we'll do 2 and 3. And like the pros is this document around guiding things
Yeah.
for the next 10 years.
What is the name of the grad student thing that we keep partnering with? I'm forgetting.
It's
Dr. Cox.
Dr. Maybe like Dr. Cox style programs.
I'm wondering about rephrasing that number 2 of just like
what's the outcome that you think?
Or just like ADA supporting services, like just like specifying discretion funds, like that's what works and that's what we're doing right now, but maybe
It's
isn't,
not the best, right?
isn't what we would want to do
In like a
10 years
unrelated
from
way.
now. Maybe there's something better. Just maybe like, you know, whatever is appropriate ADA, you know, service stuff.
Okay. I said or ADA compliance services. Is that
Sure,
right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of like opening it up to be like, what we want is the trails to be sustainable.
Great.
Yeah.
And accessible.
Okay, we are 2 minutes over time. I'm gonna adjourn us. I will send this out. People can review on their own time. We can discuss any final comments at this meeting, but we're almost done.
Thank you everybody for leading.
Great.
I missed a chunk there and I also,
I'm gonna
space.
officially close.
Well, I just want to say, when do we officially?
We're doing it the next meeting. That's supposed to be double grading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
Like not count, right?
In the future, we can just say all for, all opposed, and then it's quick. And then if there's any kind of divergence, then go around and take count. I think that's.
I'm sure there's some.
Yeah.
One of the things which I got to both. Process a little better for
Yeah.
our advice, what are our advisory
Like I
points that we
get that
want
advisory information.
to the DOT and like hit that path that, like, so we've just done that with sustainability and
We were talking about that.
yeah, so that's something that I think will make us so much more effective. I feel like
Yeah.
we need to be-
Okay.
Yeah, it just,
Liking.
yeah, it's going years back, it just wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Thank you.
What happened to,
Yeah, I guess we did.
Yeah.
showing on this laptop?
I don't know where John.
Yeah, I'll.
Swing away.
I really have to pee.
Yeah. Yeah, John was talking to me about that. I like the,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it just feels like.
Gotta go.
all right, see ya.
Yeah.